Well, hey y'all, it's a beautiful day out here on Kerr Lake. Yep, here's the lake. I think it's 53, foggy. Nobody else here in the parking lot but me, which is honestly just the way I like it. I've attempted to make this video probably 3 or 4 times, and hopefully today will be the final cut. We're out here fishing for blue catfish, trying to find some golly whoppers, as Kayak Catfish likes to say. Let me show you my setup real quick, and then we're gonna get launched. So I've got an Old Town Autopilot 136, had it for about 16 months. I really like it. Some of the mods I've made in order to fish the way I like and fish for these big catfish. I've taken off the plastic rails and put in some aluminum ones, which are heavier duty. And I use in these rod holders, we're going to be trawling today for catfish, slow trawling with some planer boards. So I'm going to show you how I set that up. But for these front rod holders, which I use for my big rods, I like these Scotty Orca rod holders, which just pop up when you get a big fish, so you can pull everything out instead of struggling to pull it out of the rod holder. Pretty handy. And the basic setup here, big rods, I have 30-pound Berkley big game mono, and I've got these pretty cool looking dragon tail rigs, and I'll send a link to the other YouTube video where I learned how to make this, but they're pretty neat. It's basically maybe about 3 feet. I use 80-pound mono, and it's a 10-aught circle hook up to a chain swivel here, all the way up to a 3-way swivel there. And then you make these homemade kind of like slinky weights. These are about 3 ounces with some refrigerant tubing, and then you use a little white balloon about golf ball size and put it a few inches above the hook, and it keeps the bait from dragging in the mud. And also I've heard it feels like a air bladder to a big catfish if they bite it, and a few times big catfish have actually popped that biting baits. I've got smaller rods that I drag directly out of the back. It's 20-pound mono. The setup is kind of similar. 8-aught hooks there, put a little rattle. I've got peg floats to keep the baits off the bottom. And this is 50-pound line here, and that goes up to 3-way swivel, and these dragging sticks, sinkers on kind of a 3-way swivel with a little snap clip. That's the basic setup. I'll get out, show you how I cut my bait. I'm gonna put some baits out, and then hopefully just have some good video of takedowns and fish today. Okay, so just decided to cut up bait here at the dock, and I'll show you how I like to cut it. Basically on the 2 big rods, I fish 2 bigger pieces, medium to large size. We're using white perch today. It seems to be a really good bait for Kerr Lake. And this is the big piece. Obviously it's a pretty good sized piece of white perch. I guess you could say that's almost hand size. I know that seems big, but if you catch big catfish, it's amazing how large their mouths are. You can put both your hands in side by side in their mouth, some of the larger ones, so that's not really a big piece of bait. The smaller poles, I like to use tail pieces, and so this tail piece I cut flaps in, and it flaps around while you're dragging it slowly. Those seem to be really popular pieces. I've got I guess a gut section there, and then a smaller head piece on that other rod. So that's the bait setup. We're gonna get in the middle of the channel. I'll deploy the rods and then explain kind of what I'm doing, and hopefully we'll catch some fish. So I've got everything out and deployed. Let me just kind of show you my setup here. So the big rods go in these front rod holders, and they're out, and I have the baits on planers. If you can see them out there, little yellow planers. So basically, these are line counter reels. I'll let the baits out 100 feet behind the boat, put the clicker on, or stop it, put the planer out. This one goes out 260 feet. This one goes out 200 feet, so they're at different distances. Once all of that's deployed, I'll take the lighter rods, and this one gets thrown out further with a small piece of bait. This one I usually just drop down and let it drift behind the boat a little bit. I put bells on the smaller rods, which are behind me, so that when I do get a hit, the bells will jingle. If you go over snags and things, it just tends to bend the rod slowly so they don't jingle and you don't really think there's a hit. As far as snags, this lake doesn't have a whole lot of them. It happens sometimes. Most of the time, the way these rigs are designed, the baits will just kind of pop up and you don't get hung up too badly. If I do get hung up and the rod just slowly bends, a lot of times I can free it just pulling on it a couple times. Every once in a while I'll have to reel everything up and pull up the baits, but I think out of, I don't know, maybe close to a dozen trips this year, I broke off only once or twice, so it's pretty rare that you actually break off on things. Just keep an eye on your fish finder so you're not going over something that's really large that will get your lines or multiple lines tangled up. And there's a fish finder. I kind of zigzag all throughout the channel, and I try to maintain a speed of 0.4 or 5, and that's really it. So you just kind of roam around till you start getting bites. You can mark where the fish are and turn back around, go multiple times. This is a pretty slow process, so I usually try to find a creek that I want to spend most of the day in, and I'll ideally start at the back of the creek, work my way towards the front, or vice versa, and you'll find where the fish are. I think a lot of times they tend to start out at the front of the creek and work their way towards the back as it gets warmer. Today, we'll see how today is. It's a couple degrees warmer than when I was out here the other day. I was hoping it'd be a lot warmer. It was yesterday, but the sun was out and now it's foggy and rainy, so we'll just drive around till we find some fish and hopefully have some good bites. Well, I can't really tell what the birds over there are doing, but sounds like a good time. Alright, finally got our first fish. Jesus, that took forever. Let's take this belt off. Look pretty good, so looks like a good fish. And one of those flapper pieces. So when I'm slow trawling like this and I get a fish, the nice thing about the autopilot is you can set the course and the speed. So I still got my other 3 lines out. Nothing gets tangled while you're fighting a fish, which is really nice. I know those kayakers don't have that luxury, but I can, turn around and fight the fish, and kayak stays on relatively good track. Alright, that's a pretty good one. Alright, I'm going to say maybe about 20. Let's see, we got a pass. No. Alright, there we go. Yeah, it's always a good hit when it starts to turn the kayak around. It might be bigger than 20, it might be like 20, 25. Hallelujah. See, he's got some mud on him. And then sitting on the bottom. There where most of the fish are. Alright, let's get a weight. I'll be back. Let me say 17 to 19. What do y'all think? £19. Alright, first fish of the day. Hallelujah, got the skunk out of the boat. Okay, so we go. Fish right there. Oh, there's a good one. See that? Right there. I like to try to get them a couple feet off the bottom just so the fish will come up and then pull on them and hopefully hook themselves. And just bring them down slightly. Smell them a little bit better. Look, ooh, he's going for it, he's going for it, he's going for it. There you go. There you go. We got him. Oh, that was awesome. He's still on? Yeah, he's still on. I don't know how big he is yet. He looks pretty good. Doesn't realize he's hooked yet. There he goes. Yep. Now he realizes he's hooked. Yeah. All right, not bad. Not bad. Yep. Probably, I'd say 25. Pretty cool to see that on the Livescope though. Maybe. Yeah, it's a little bit of a cluster. And that's how you do it. Whew. It's fun. It's fun. Fish grips. Got him. Yeah. Maybe he's bigger than 125. Whew. That's not too shabby. Good fish. Let's see, what do we think? I'm gonna say 30 plus. Stand up to weigh that bad boy. Run at the best. Let's see if we can pick him up. So let's see. $27 pounds. All right. Oop. Yep, he wants to roll. Now you gotta be careful when you're holding them so you don't accidentally slip your finger in their bee hole, because it happens. It happens. Alright, hallelujah. 27 pounds on the Livescope. Alright, let's let them go. Whew! Alright, he's ready to go already. See ya. That was awesome. Right over there, let's see if he comes in. I'm paying attention. Let's see. Get on there. There it is. I think it's smaller. Pretty cool. Yeah. Little guy. Little guy. He didn't even fight, just came up. Alright, well, we're gonna boat flip him and weigh him. Now. Maybe we'll boat flip him a little bit later. Alright. You get out of your system? Hope so. Oh. Whew. Well, you know, I originally planned to troll and make a nice trolling video. And now I'm just making a video on catfish burping noises. He sounds like my 6-year-old. Alright, alright. Let's get a quick weight. I'm gonna say 12 to 15. He's 17. A little chunkier than I thought. Alright. 17. There we go. Okay, let him go. See ya. That's a log or a tree. Very neat. Alright, that's the last spot. Oh, come on. Take it. Take it. I can take it. Alright, I think with that, we're going to call it a day. It is pretty miserable out here right now. Luckily I got some good rain gear, but visibility is, I don't know, 200 feet. And I've been out here all day. I think it's time to just call it a day and pack up and get home and celebrate New Year's. So a few observations for today. I originally thought fishing was going to be a lot better, and it probably would have if the temperature hadn't gone down again. It was warmer yesterday in the mid-60s when I caught bait. I caught bait real fast, and that's usually a good indication that the predatory fish are feeding too. But this wasn't the case today. I also started out fishing a different way entirely, which was dragging baits, and that's actually worked out really well for me. In the past, I had one of my best fishing days ever a few weeks ago, but again, the weather was warmer, and I guess the fish were just more active. Here, I tended to find them in spots. My best spot tended to be the mouth of a creek on a slope, and I think the fish are just more lethargic, and they really want the bait in their face when the water's this cold. It's 44 degrees right now, and the other week when I did really well, it was probably closer to 50. So, you know, live and learn. I did have some luck with fishing the baits under the boat, just, you know, I guess tight lining, if you will, and hopefully got some good video. And if you guys have any questions about my setup or techniques or rigs or anything like that, just leave a question in the comments. I'll be glad to answer them. Thanks.